I just can't. I can't stop looking at them, bro. They're fucking legit.
Yeah, they're
driving
pretty cool.
it.
I like them too.
If I did, then I'd throw an LS in it. It'd be a little different.
Yeah, it would be different.
But it would be cool to have a coupe car.
Whoa.
I moved to the city at 27 and was there sick. Oh, I love it. But basically, yeah, from like 27 to 30.
Yo, YouTube, what up? So, welcome to the vlog. It's Nico, Nick D, you know, at whatever. My nephew helped me out with the FRS, and as well as Rob. So Rob came by yesterday, picked up the car. He's got his auto shop in the city. He has his like Toyota scanners and stuff. So he looked through the engine code, which was a wheel speed sensor and stuff, and then he fixed the alignment for me too. And yeah, did me a solid there. And I figured out what was wrong with the FRS. So I'll check that out right now, and then we'll bounce back. All right, YouTube, so this is Ryder. He's gonna help me out with the video recording real quick because I don't have my big camera here and I figured out the FRS problem. So, okay, take the phone and then stand over there and make sure you get me and the thing in frame. Just back up so you can see. Oh, yeah. Perfect. No, you can see I'm like right here.
Okay.
Perfect. Now, can you see me and this in frame?
Yeah.
You can see us all. Okay. Now you see this. Okay, so I pulled out the axle from the spindle real fast, and there's my problem. That is what your sensor gets its reading from. So the ABS sensor, obviously you can see that's bent right there. This is the encoder, I think, for the back of the hub. Yep, it's popped off. This happens on usually like misinstallation of a part. So we may have misinstalled these axles, and the hub may have went backwards along the axle to where it would have popped this way and then basically like broken it off. So annoying, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, there's no fixing this. This thing's pretty bent up. I wouldn't even try to bend this thing back correctly.
My dad can fix it.
Oh, your dad can? Yeah. His dad can fix everything. Are you aiming it at me? You're not even aiming it at me.
Yes, I am.
Crazy.
I am.
Yeah, so it's not even worth it. When I get cost at O'Reilly, cost is like $70. So I'll just put that in, and then we're gonna pull this hub off first, the spindle, and then I'll put this hub in. Okay, so now that the limp mode is fixed, let's go bring this bitch up here. I don't really need to. Yeah, there's nothing else to fix on it anymore. It's good to go. So let's go. The limp mode is gone. It's so legit too, because I was bummed out for so long that in the last like 2-3 weeks that I couldn't like really drive the car. I was like, I had to rev it up to like $4 grand. That's all I could get out of it. Couldn't really do much else with it, and now we are good to go. Let's check this out. No more Christmas tree dash. And this isn't just like a code clearing thing. Like, it's actually fixed. That little ring on that hub was broken. So when the ring on the hub, the encoder makes contact with the sensor, because that ring is what gives the signal. So when that makes contact with the sensor and it's like leaning on it, it's going to throw a code, and it's just not going to be right. That's why it was rearming itself every single time. So oh baby, look at that, good idle. It's not sitting at 5K or 500 anymore. Doing all right. Listen to the revs. All right, so let's go and drive this FRS. Now, I'm not really, I actually took it to the drive-thru real fast to kind of get an idea of what it was like. So me going to the drive-thru, you know, that means I was ripping up and down Port Chicago like a mother. So I was for sure getting in it, and the car revs all the way out. But I don't know how I feel about it. It just feels like, I guess the cockpit feels dope. And if I wasn't in a four-door like chassis, like the IS chassis, I might like really enjoy this, but it just feels unpractical as fuck, you know? Like, for somebody my age, especially if you're driving the truck and other things, I don't understand how people drive these like daily. Like, I have such a good combo with the truck and the IS, like both being 4 doors and huge. Well, the truck's huge, and that's just a fun daily driver. So I don't understand people drive these things daily. Like, it's cool, it's sporty, but it's, Bruce just said it. It feels like a Scion Miata, if that makes sense, because it's so underpowered. So, like, we'll watch. I was pinned. I mean, I guess some people might think it's just sporty and cool, but those people also don't drive a 800 horsepower IS 300, so maybe they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, look, a Miata. Look at that. Hey, buddy. I'm actually going to America's Tires real fast. Kyle, one of my buddies over there, he's worked there for a little while, and he's hooked me up on the truck with like swapping tires out or doing balancing and pressure sensors and stuff. So this thing has one last light, and it's the tire pressure monitoring system, because all the pressure is good. So Rob said the sensors were good, and if not, I think I have a couple valve stem sensors in the back. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can reset those so I can get this light on. God, this car is so slow. Jesus Christ. I was like pinned. It took me like fucking 6 seconds to get up to 80 miles an hour. Okay, that was the most hilarious thing on the planet. That was the quickest interaction ever. So I'm literally here at America's Tires in Walnut Creek. I don't even know if you can see it up there. Is it? No, can't see it. Kyle comes out. He gets me in like literally 3 minutes. I'm in and out. Tire sensor things rescan. Good to go. The entire dash now, no lights at all, well, besides the gas light, but everything's fucking money, you guys. So stoked on how well this thing came together. So we're fixed, we're good. So our 888's just like not the jam? No. Yeah. Look at this fuck. You guys are probably wondering why I'm here. I figured I'd bug Neil on my drive back from the tire shop, so we're here now, fucking around with the Supra, because I can't stop looking at it. So where'd you just take it? Thunderhill? Where else?
Thunderhill West, a little 2-mile newer track, I guess you call it.
That was the Speed SF track day?
Speed SF challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like a fun day, but it was 100 and I think outside was 106.
Fuck yeah, that's hot. That's hot.
And the car did fine. I mean,
which honestly, like, how many other cars? I get it, it's a factory basically, but any other car? I could bring my car out there that heat, and fucking rip it. There's no way.
The FRS the FRS never got an oil cooler stock.
Okay.
So even if you were, I mean, you can track an FRS stock, and they're awesome cars. Except you can overheat the oil in 3 laps.
Yeah.
So it's like an okay track car for the first time, but the second you buy it and actually want to start tracking it, you have to put $1,000 into it.
A bunch of cooling shit, yeah.
This car, giant oil cooler stock, 3 coolers for the turbo system, big radiator.
Well, let me ask you this, because your FRS is supercharged, which makes what, 320, 330?
300, just fun.
And this is like a little over 500 or something near there?
No, I was running it in 380.
Okay, so, okay, very similar. Just going from this, you've already raced that for how many years?
3.
Okay. And then this with this last weekend. I mean,
second track day.
I don't want to ask like obviously what's the favorite, because this is like fresh in your mind and you did that for a while, but like noticeable differences is like things you do like.
So big differences were, other than power and power delivery, this car's turn-in was insane.
Okay.
The FRS is push, and they know they push, and we do a bunch of shit to them to make them not understeer, but the car is set up basically to understeer. This thing turns in like an S2000, if not better.
Ooh.
With electric steering.
Hey, that's why I would
too,
like that.
So like the feeling is not as there. To be fair, it's vague compared to that car, and that's like very direct. But I never was driving this car and thinking, I don't know where the wheels are, I don't know how much grip I have. It was like extremely responsive, and It was too good.
Yeah.
It was really like.
Well, that's cool you said though, because like the only thing I have as far as I don't even say track experience. The only thing I have as far as a track setup in my own arsenal was that old S2K I have. That's the one thing I did like about it is its turn in. I just never knew how to drive a 50-50 balanced car. Like I always lost the rear end because I didn't know what I was doing.
And that happens a lot of S2000. S2000s are known as being like twitchy.
Yeah.
But there's a reason there's 100 at the track every time you go.
Yeah.
It's a very good car. This, I don't know if you can compare it, obviously, because this thing's so heavy.
Yeah.
But it did not feel heavy. It's super nimble.
I feel like I would like that more though. Like similar style but heavier. Yeah, that sounds fucking
Well,
sick.
you don't notice the weight as much. It's not obvious with how much power it has. But like, it wasn't dominating speed-wise. I had a buddy in his E90 Supra that has a strong engine, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I let off when I was behind you." On the first lap of our challenge, we're grid pretty close to each other. So he said he actually let off so he didn't, get into the back of me. And then I was able to pull away, but from corner grip and from speed. Not because the thing is so powerful, but
On most of those
yeah,
turns.
you could turn it up. It's just not gonna. I was trying to do 20-minute sessions without it overheating.
Yeah. On most of those turns though, because I'm not familiar with grip stuff, but can you basically stay in throttle most of the time, like the way this car's set up?
Yes, no. The way this diff works, if you are constantly lifting off the throttle, the diff will unlock. So you want to keep on throttle, so the diff actually stays locked and stays predictable. You are partial throttle, yeah. At that track, it's really tight and quick. You try to stay partial throttle most of the track.
Okay. Interesting. That I wouldn't. Okay.
But you can't drive. Like actually, what I learned after driving this thing so much there, and I probably have more laps at that track than anywhere else, honestly. This car, it took a lot of different lines versus that car. Even though that car it makes decent power, the aero doesn't do a ton at that track, but there was still a lot of different line changes because this car could turn in. I could take kind of weird apexes and turn in later, but be able to get on power super, super early because this car could turn in and like point straight so much faster than this car. So the way it changes direction and drives was, yeah, I fell in love with it immediately.
I'd want to be in the car in front of this car and just camera the shit out of it. Just like watch it turn in and like, yeah, that'd be fucking fun.
I have
'Cause
some rear video from friends, but
Like-
no one runs rear facing.
that's what I'm saying. I want to run like a really dope camera. Like, it was like the one thing I love about the Top Gear old videos, or even when they do like Chris Harris's videos, he always has a sick ass camera car up there that's fast as fuck.
following him.
Yeah, or yeah, that can just see all his turn ins and all his shit. Like when he initiates drifts and stuff, I'm like, fuck, that angle is so cool.
Like, oops, I misshifted. There's a motor.
He also just put these 18s on there, which I'm a fan. Is there anything blocking your hood if you were to close it? I want to see what fitment looks like with it closed.
Well,
I know it's still on the.
It's like on the lift.
Yeah.
It's not as.
I guess I'm looking at like. See, but what's the benefit of running coilovers on a car this new that has the adaptive suspension? Like, isn't this fun to keep it as it is?
It's soft.
Okay.
Still, that's so. If I was running, like I said, this is a 200 treadwear tire, but not really. If I was running our comp or like a 100 treadwear tire that was even stickier, it would overwhelm the suspension even more.
Okay.
As it is on some of there's turn 8 at Thunderhill West is like a downhill kind of dip, and as I was braking, the front here that has these like air blockers was actually scraping pretty decently.
Okay, so it is softer.
It's,
Okay.
it's soft enough to compress it. But if you're gonna be on like a like Michelin Pilot Super Sports, like a street tire, it's fine. You wouldn't have to do coilovers. It would be more for fitment.
Okay.
Basically, the stock strut is too big and the wheel's too wide. It would touch the inside of the.
If someone like me is not going to track it as much, and I'm going to do like more spirited, like I'm going to rip up Crow Canyon as much as I can and shit like that, like I don't necessarily need to change out to coilovers. I can probably leave that suspension then, right?
Stock.
Yeah, exactly.
And you put it in sport mode, it gets stiffer significantly, but it's still, for this sticky of a tire, it is not quite enough.
Yeah, and you
I don't
notice
know that
it.
I'm going to put coilovers. I'd love to keep tracking like this because it was really cheap to set this car up. It was like under $5,000 all in, tires, wheels, camber plates, tune, all that stuff. It's still considered cheap. So
That's pretty cool.
I wouldn't want to do coilovers just for that aspect, but also it doesn't need it. I don't need to go nuts on this car.
So that's good to know though. Like I don't want to say it's like it eases my mind, but it's just neat to still like jump in and drive it. I like that shit. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna
You
get.
can hop in and go track this. I'm not gonna like compare it to a Porsche, but it's close enough where you could get in it and drive it fast without having to do too much.
I was just watching a couple videos on YouTube, and it was some guys that were driving these. Like the guy, I think he was driving the 718 came in. He was driving a 911 GT3, and then something.
They're compared to this thing?
They were, yes, and like they were keeping everything stock for stock, and then they did a GT4 came in, and obviously this thing was like quicker than most of them, like in a straight line, which is weird and hilarious. But it's like, oh, cool, I can have like Porsche feeling performance and stuff, and with a quarter of the cost, fucking sign me up. It's so sick. And honestly, like, if I'm at the track and I see this, I'm not looking at the Porsches. I'm looking at this fucking car all day. It's so sick. It's rare.
Sonoma, there was actually the funny thing. There was 3 Supras there. The only one of them was in the advanced run group I was in, but to see another one there was funny. We all kind of went and talked to each other, but it's a rare car. It's still, and it's rare at the track. There's literally more GT3s and GT3RSs at the track than a Supra. So
So tight. I love that
it's
shit.
kind of fun to have something different.